on how you were raised, how they were raised. You learn to find that balance. Everybody doesn't have to be the same. But again, as I mentioned earlier, there has to be respect no matter what. Common ground. How to deal with millennials. We spend a lot. We spend a whole lot. We tend to have our phones next to our beds. This is very true in my case. Because there are days on my off days that I may not feel like turning on the computer. I can just roll over and play on my phone. Okay? Millennials. We use Twitter. A lot of us are self-employed. Okay? When you think about millennials, and you actually hire them, find ways to make sure that they are always included. Inclusion is important on any university campus. What are their ideas? Because 9 times out of 10, their ideas are going to take them outside of their work environment. They want to go out of town because they believe in leaving trips. Ever since spring break, they've been spring breakers of college years, and now they want to be spring breakers of their academic world. Okay? So 9 times out of 10, every spring break, they're going to have a trip planned. Why not center it around a conference so everybody can come together? Okay? Your ideas may not be their ideas, but still introduce them. Give them a chance to participate and lead out. 3.1% of millennials earn enough money to lead the kind of life they want. This is very true. Because every time I go to Dillard's, I think about a pair of shoes that I want to get. And I get them. Millennials lead the life that they want. Okay? Think about it. Challenge number 8, greatest challenge of all. This sums up the entire presentation. Being myself. How do I be myself in an environment that may or may not accept me? I push on anyway. Okay? Being comfortable in my own skin. You see, after incompetence and after adversity, I still got to find a way to be comfortable. I still got to find a way to go to work and work with students, even though I'm trying to figure out how in the world did all this happen. Being comfortable in my own skin. Why? Because I'm the first face that my students see. And if my students don't see me exuberant about math, they're going to hate it. I got plenty of students who come into my class. I hate math. I have the worst math teacher. I can't believe I'm in another math class. So what do? I got to pull out some tools and resources to help them to feel comfortable. But I got to be comfortable first in order to make them comfortable. Embracing every challenge with a positive view. You notice what I mentioned when the challenge came, the first thing my mother said, let's plan for fall. Let's pray about it. What else are we planning? What else do we do? So she effectively found ways to distract me from the challenges, and therein lies positivity. Positive thinking is the key to a lot of things. With positivity and imagination, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. 10 years ago, I could not have told you that I would be in Kentucky. I did not know. But 6.5 years ago, when I imagined it, I said, well, I guess I'll be in Kentucky. Me and the horses. Okay? And I'm here in Kentucky. Quote, every Facebook morning, I call it a Facebook morning. Every Facebook morning I read quotes by Tony Gaskin. And he happens to be the life coach of Kay Michelle. Many of you don't know her. She's an R&B artist. And she needs a life coach. Okay? And she has one, and that will be this young gentleman here. He wrote a quote more recently that I saw, and I wanted to share it with you. The greater the struggle, the greater the success. Appreciate the tough times and know you'll have a story to tell when things work out in your favor. Your blessings are on the way. This is my story that I'm telling you. I'm over the struggles. Will there be more? Of course, but now I know how to handle it. This is my story, and it did work out in my favor. I want to tell you that oftentimes you're going to go through experience in life, and you may not know what the outcome will be. Your first thought will be to think negatively. Let me tell you, positivity and your imagination will get you out of that slump that you're in. Why? Because somebody's watching you. Somebody's looking at how you process information and how you handle adversity, and if you don't handle it right, it could mean an end to your future opportunities. This particular speaking engagement, I would not be here if I hadn't imagined it first. If I hadn't thought positively, I wouldn't be out of my struggle. If I hadn't thought positively, I wouldn't have known how to go up the chain of command. Welcome to success. Before I get to the thank you, I want to tell you the greatest challenge that I've experienced beyond mathematics. You see, as the youngest person, or the youngest child in my family, I was not all that concerned on learning how to drive. I just wasn't. Because I always had a ride. Either my mother, my father, or my sister, I will always get there. Well, as it turns out, I took driver's testing, got my permit, and sat down. I said, I got a ride. I'm good. Well, as it turns out, first time I took the driver's test, I did not pass. Why? I absolutely hate parallel parking. I still do to this day. That is why I do not parallel park. Okay? First time I didn't pass. I said, well, no problem. I got a ride. I'll always get to where I need to be anyway. Time number 2. Before I took my second driver's test, my mother said, look, a day will come when we will all not live in this house. I thought that was highly unlikely, but it happened. And my mother said a day will come when we all will be busy, all 3 of us, the drivers. And if we're busy and you got an appointment to attend, we're not coming to get you. I said, Mom, you would do me like this? I can't believe it. Why would you do that? She said, I need you to learn how to drive. Okay. So, that second time around, I got the license. Well, by the time I got the license, my mind was still on. I have the license, but I still have a ride. You understand what happened? I have a license, but I still have a ride. I have a license, but I still have a ride. So the day and time come, which I believe my mother perfectly orchestrated. I had an appointment. My mom was gone, my dad was gone, and my sister was gone, and there's one car in the driveway. So I go room to room. Where's everybody at? Nobody's here. Well, I guess I got to drive myself to the appointment. And I was terrified. Even though I already had a license, I was terrified. Because that would be my first time on the road with no one in the car. I said, well, if I start out early, I'll get there on time. And sure enough, I started out early. I almost hit a car. But that's neither here nor there. I started out early and I got there. On the way back, I called my mother. I said, I made it to the location. I'm on the way home. She said, I knew you could do it. But I knew that if we didn't remove ourselves from the house, you would not do it. This is how I got to mathematics. This is how I got to Kentucky, because I came to Kentucky by myself. So I have to drive in Kentucky. I don't have a ride anymore. Okay? In life, your imagination will often carry you to worlds that never were. But without it, we go nowhere. This is a quote from Carl Sagan. If you do not imagine it, it will be highly unlikely for it to happen. That is why it's important for us to imagine the things that we really want to take place. Once we imagine it, then we begin to execute a plan on how we want it to happen. And lo and behold,